this week on Cruisin' New England. Where can you find steam engines, classic cars, trucks, and trailers, and maybe even the best turkey soup in the world? I'm Paul Manette, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Cruisin' New England. Today we're in central Connecticut for the Concourse, the Barnyard. And I'm not talking about chickens, but maybe a little turkey. You'll find out all about this event when we come back. All my life, I've been cruising New England, meeting great people, visiting amazing places, and discovering wonderful classic and custom car collections, nostalgic automobilia, and so much more. Come on and join our adventure. I'm Paul Manette. Let's go cruising. Closed captioning for Cruisin' New England on Nesson is being brought to you by New England Recycling. Waste put to work. Cash for Gold, the place to sell your unwanted gold and diamonds. Where you sell your jewelry is as important as where you buy it. We at Cash for Gold are gold and diamond specialists. We will buy all size diamonds, gold chains, rings, bracelets, silver coins, and even broken jewelry. Often we pay 2 to 3 times higher than pawn shop prices. We also pay up to 90% of the daily price of both diamonds and gold. We are the original, authentic, family-run Cash for Gold and have been for over 35 years. Visit us at 527 South Broadway, Route 28 in Salem, New Hampshire.
Your special moments are something to remember. For weddings, portraits, and special events, contact Sparks Fly Photography.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Auto Rust Technicians. We've been welding and sandblasting and undercoating cars for over 35 years. If you got those problems, give us a call.
Hi, I'm Jim Grundy, the old original from Grundy Worldwide Collector Car Insurance. We've been providing antique car insurance for 65 years, and now this year we have the latest and greatest state-of-the-art technology. Our new system allows you to go online on our website and get a quote in 2 minutes. If you like what you see, you can apply, plug in your credit card, and get your policy delivered to your email the same day. So for all your collector car insurance needs, try Grundy Worldwide.
I'm Dick Shappy and deal in the finest classic motor cars, cycles, and vintage parts to collectors all over the world, but we're right here in New England. Vintage cars are like vintage wine. Both get better with proper care and time. I offer a luxury experience that's by appointment only. So check out my website, classiccars.ws, or call me at 401-521-5333 to find your personal piece of history.
George King III.
Paul, how are you?
Concourse, the Barnyard. Never heard of such a thing.
Barnyard. Yeah, well, anybody can go to a Concourse d'Elegance, but, you know, to go to a Concourse de Barnyard is special.
Now, I understand you've been doing this for over 20 years.
That's correct. Yeah, we started many, many years ago when we first got the steam engines running here, and started out more as a steam show, and a few of my car friends would show up, and now it's well balanced. We got a good representation of both. And we'd like to welcome Cruisin' New England to our event for the first year. It's very good to have you guys here.
And it's a pleasure to be here. As I gaze through the fields here, I can see all kinds of things, from oil trucks to fire trucks. Where do you draw all these people from?
Well, a lot of them are friends of mine from the automotive hobby. Like, we have people that has traveled to this show from as far away as Texas this year. We have 2 pieces of fire apparatus from Long Island, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire. We're pretty well represented.
So are there any restrictions here? Do you keep it just to a certain automobile, or what do you do?
No, what the rule of the game is, you have to bring your favorite machine. We have Victrollers that come. We might have a hot air engine. We might have an old fan. We've had sewing machines. We've had ladies bring in sewing machines in the past. So it's just kind of a celebration of the mechanized age.
I also understand that this show offers a world-class turkey soup.
Oh yeah, my wife's world-famous turkey soup. We're anticipating to feed 400 people today.
Wow.
So we've bought 4 turkeys, and she's been She called it quits at 2 o'clock this morning. She was down here again at 6:30. She's in there cooking soup right now, so I hope you get a chance to walk in and say hello.
Oh, you can bet on that. So I know you're going to introduce me to a lot of your friends, and we'll have a look at a lot of vehicles. I'm even going to taste that turkey soup a little bit later.
I hope you do.
Tell me about this ambulance.
This ambulance is Ambulance 255. It represents 1,200 Model T ambulances that were donated by Americans and driven by American volunteers in World War I before the United States entered the war. 77% of the drivers were college students or recent graduates. They paid their own way over to France. They paid for their own uniforms and equipment. Then they went out to the front lines where the Germans were dropping shells on them. They succeeded in evacuating 500,000 wounded in 3 years. 127 of the drivers never came home. I ran across this story quite by accident, and I became enthralled by it. The more I studied it, the more I knew that I had to tell the story. And at some point I decided the only way to tell the story was to build one. So I did. The car itself is all accurate, original Model T Ford parts from 1916. The sheet metal is new, but all the running gear, engine, drivetrain, all that is original. The body is made of exactly the same materials as the French used during World War I to build the original ambulances, including the importing of $4,000 worth of African mahogany from the Ivory Coast, because that's what the body's made out of. It took us 3 years of research, 2.5 years of construction, about 40 people working on it, both here and in France, and this is the final product. Next year, we hope to bring it to France to mark some of the centennial recognitions of the beginning of World War I.
George, we're cruising New England, sometimes beyond. Maybe we'll get a chance to follow you all the way to France.
I think that would be a wonderful idea.
When we come back, a lot more from the Concourse to Barnyard right here on Cruisin' New England.
Order a bunch of parts to get ready for the car show this weekend?
And I got a hot deal, too.
You think? Think again.
Oh, man.
Tired of back orders? You need NPD. With 4 strategically located superstores, orders are shipped direct to your door within 1 to 3 business days. National Parts Depot has quality restoration parts for Ford Truck, Mustang, Camaro, Chevelle, and Firebird. For your free catalog, visit NPD online or call toll-free.
Find out what's happening. Get up-to-date information as I travel throughout New England and beyond. To get exclusive information and behind-the-scenes photos, join me on Facebook.
I'm Paul Minette of Cruisin' New England at McMullen Chevrolet. McMullen has shipments arriving weekly of the new C7 Corvette.
People from all over the country buy their Corvettes from McMullen Chevrolet to get the highest level of value and service.
McMullen Chevrolet always has over 250 Corvettes in stock in their 3-story climate-controlled building. Remember, all roads lead to McMullen Chevrolet. Check them out at McMullen.net.
The Thompson Auto Group.
When September comes, the party begins. Cruise on over to the Big E in West Springfield, Massachusetts, September the 12th through the 28th.
Would you like to see more Cruisin' New England television? Now you can watch Cruisin' New England every day on our website television show. See past episodes featuring premier automobile collections, memorabilia, automobilia, and car shows. You'll see our visit with Charles Gould and his Matchbox Motors Microcar Museum, the Chevy Guy, John Broden's car collection and automobilia, and a whole lot more. Join us on our website television show at cruisingNewEngland.com.
Don't miss the Amherst Outdoor Antique Auto Show and Flea Market, Amherst, New Hampshire. The last Sunday of the month, April through October. Over 500 spots. Gates open at 6 a.m. with free admission.
We're back, and I'm with Carl Pate. 2 beautiful brass era automobiles.
These are 2 early Ford cars. This is a 1903 Model A Ford. There's only 8 of these that look the way they would have originally. It was originally called for 1 month a Ford Mobile, and then it was all the other cars were referred to as the Ford. So we think Henry had an ego.
I guess so.
It's an 8 horsepower 2-cylinder car, horizontal opposed. Very crude brake. It's a band that contracts, so it doesn't work going backwards, so you have to use low. Low and reverse are referred to as brakes on these cars.
Now, is this something that you restored, or did you buy it like
It was actually restored in about 1992 out in California, and then I purchased it in about 2000, my brother and I.
Well, Carl, tell us about the other vehicle you brought here today.
The other vehicle is a Model F, 1905. It's a 12 horsepower, still a horizontal opposed. This is the piston that's inside the Model F. There's actually two of them.
Was it this shiny when it was new?
No, it wouldn't be this shiny. It's a little bit better and referred to as a really good Ford, and a lot of the owners question why Ford canceled it after only about a year. It's got disc brakes or drum brakes on the back, which this does not have. You'll also notice the upgrade in the seat. This is a bench seat. That's a bucket seat, so it's sort of a higher class car, a little bit longer, so a smoother ride. Just a real good car.
Now, do you drive these a lot? Or?
Yes. That one, first time out, we went on the New London, New Brighton run in Minnesota, and it took it to Detroit for the Old Car Festival. This has also been on the New London, New Brighton run in Minnesota about 2 years ago.
What speeds can you get up to in these?
Surprisingly, this one will get up to about 30, but it's a white knuckle ride. This has direct steering, which means there's no reduction. So you turn this wheel just a little bit, the car will literally jump on the road. The F has some steering reduction, but it's harder to steer because it's a heavier car.
Carl, I love your cars, but I also understand you have quite a license plate collection.
Actually, it was my brother that should get the credit. For his whole life, he collected license plates, both Connecticut, any state, and even Merritt Parkway memorabilia. This is the best of what he had.
So we start over here from the early years, from the early 1900s, and you're working your way into 1911, 13, and 14. Give me a little overview.
Again, this here is to show the development of plates. You can see passenger versus commercial, that's the different colors. The D would be a dealer. The back of a plate is shown so you can see the medallion that's on the back of the company that made them. The early ones even have looks like a magic marker written that tells you the month and year. We also notice down here on the motorcycles were considered passenger cars and sidecars were considered commercial. I've been told that's because they carried mail bags sometimes.
Wow. Now these are porcelain, these plates.
The early ones up to about 1913.
And then because of a cost factor, as we went along, they just couldn't afford to, as the numbers grew, they couldn't afford to do the porcelain.
It was actually in 17, they go to a steel with a paint on them. Each state being different.
Now, Carl, I notice you have a leather plate, it looks like, down the bottom there. Is that a leather license plate that I see?
Yes, it is.
Now, I understand those are worth a lot of money.
They can be, yes. There's not a lot of them.
Now, these license plates, especially the early ones, can be very valuable.
You can get into a unique one that were very limited issue. Connecticut ran out of numbers, or plates, had to reissue a set of numbers, about 1,000. There are less than 50 of these left.
Wow.
Of the Block C.
Well, it's quite a tribute to your brother, actually.
Thank you.
It's really awesome that you bring it to shows to share this information, and I'm glad you shared it with my viewers today. You've even written a book, I see. It says Pate's Early Ford.
It's a book on the early Ford cars from the beginning of Ford up to the first Model T. It's sold worldwide and on the website.
You know, I'd like to see the next generation pick up a book like this to keep this thing going.
That was the intent.
Thanks for sharing everything with us. George, all I hear about is that world-famous turkey soup.
You might think people come here for the cars, but that's not it at all. They come here for Kathleen's world-famous turkey soup. This is my wife, Kathleen.
Nice to meet you.
She's been the star of the show here for over 20 years.
Wow. Kathleen, you do not skimp on that turkey. Oh, no. I'll tell you, look at those big chunks of turkey in there.
Help yourself to it.
I can have a taste?
Yes.
You sure if they won't mind?
No,
all right, let's have a taste of this.
There's plenty for everybody.
Oh, man. Kathleen, this was worth the trip for me to come here, let me tell you. A lot more Cruisin' New England when we come back. Welcome to the Town Fair Tire Recognition Award Series. Each week we're going to be giving away an award to recognize a classic car owner throughout New England. I'm here with Jim Giuliano. He's the Vice President of Marketing and Advertising for Town Fair Tire.
Paul, Town Fair Tire is a proud sponsor of the Recognition Award Series. At the end of the series, we're going to have a Town Fair Tire Choice Award winner for the $500 gift certificate.
It's going to be very exciting. Jim, I want to introduce you to Paul Briot, and this is his 65 Mustang Fastback.
Paul, tell us about your car.
It's a all-stock car, 289, 3-speed.
Beautiful car. On behalf of Town Fair Tire, I'd like to present you with a gift certificate and a check.
Thank you.
Get to Town Fair Tire. You always get free mounting, free flat repair, free tire rotation, free snow tire changeover. Drive with confidence. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Town Fair Tire.
We're back and I'm with Dan Ditullio, and he brought a beautiful 1937 Cord. Tell us about it.
It's a 1935 design car, very ahead of its time. A lot of firsts were in this car. It's very streamlined, front-wheel drive, unibody construction. First car to have a horn ring. First car not to have running boards. First car to have a locking gas cap door.
So Dan, tell me what you have under the hood.
It's a Lycoming V8, roughly 288 cubic inches, flathead, and it was specially designed for this car.
So Dan, how fast will this go?
About 100 miles an hour.
Fast enough.
It's a 4-speed transmission and geared pretty high.
Dan, compared to a modern car, how does this drive?
With the exception of not having disc brakes, quite favorably, and of course no power steering.
So Dan, did you restore this or did you buy it the way it is?
I restored it. The car was basically unmolested in the sense that it still retained its correct drivetrain when I obtained it in the early 80s, but it had been, I'd say, restored, fixed up in the 50s. So a lot of the original trim items were missing, which I had to obtain.
So Dan, why did you buy a Cord?
Well, I had the opportunity to own a true classic car, and time was limited, and I figured I'd better jump while I could.
Well, I'm glad you did. You're kind of preserving history here, and you did a good job getting all that extra pieces that you needed for this car. Okay. Dan, thanks for sharing the vehicle with us here today.
Okay, thank you.
I'm here with Andre Bork, and he brought a beautiful pickup truck here today.
Yes, it is. It's my 1924 Model T pickup. Bought this about a year ago at a tag sale.
Hey, listen, when you go to a yard sale, you're supposed to get a great deal, did you?
Yes, we did. I think so anyway. Price-wise, it was $6,500.
Wow, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. How do people react when you drive down Main Street with this?
How do people react? I got to drive with one hand because everybody waves. They see an old Model T come by, and everybody loves it. It's incredible.
Doesn't get any better than that.
No, well, life is good.
Thanks for sharing it with us here today.
You bet, Paul. Thank you.
Now we're here with Ernie Ross, a 1930 stake body truck. Tell us about it.
Well, this is a 1.5 ton truck, 4-cylinder, Model A. They called it an AA because it's a big truck. My grandfather bought this new in 1930, and I was born 10 years later.
So I guess this was actually used on the farm, and I guess you even worked on it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. In fact, it was my good fortune my father couldn't afford a new one.
Oh, did you ever restore it?
I painted it 50 years ago, and I used it. I've hauled apples with it into the early 90s, and this was in storage for 20 years. And just this year, we've got it out and restored it and got it going again.
Beautiful truck, fabulous history. Thanks for sharing it with me here today. Now we're here with Don Liepelt, a 1912 Overland, and what do you call that? An antique camper?
Yeah, this is a Claire pop-up tent trailer, one of the first that was built.
Now, is that original? It can't be original. It looks brand new.
It is. The tent was built in 2004. I didn't have any tent at all, but I had original literature that gave me all the specifications, the width of each piece of canvas. So this was built by the Sailmaker at Mystic Seaport Museum.
Now, would somebody use this for a family outing?
Yes, that was it. The claim to fame with Claire was it was a large unit, larger than anybody else's on the market. It sleeps 8 people. Might seem a little difficult, but it does. And it still leaves room for the family to have a dining area inside or the kids to play.
Don, let's talk about this Brasera automobile, a 1912 Overland. It's really a nice looking vehicle.
Well, thank you.
Tell me about it.
Okay, this is a 1912 Model 59R Overland. Overland built 4 different levels in 12, and this is the second one up from the bottom. It's a small car, 30 horsepower engine, 226 cubic inches, lots of pulling power. I pull this 800-pound trailer with no effort at all.
Now, as I look at this vehicle, has it ever been restored?
No, this is not a restored vehicle. I tell people this is a maintained vehicle. You can have an original, a maintained, or a restored. Over the years, this has had done to it what was needed to keep it running in good condition and safe on the highways.
There are 3 different types of buyers out there, and you hit all 3 of them. The maintained one is pretty cool because you really don't see many of them around.
No, that's true.
Thanks a lot for sharing it with us here today, Don.
Well, it's been my pleasure.
A lot more in Central Connecticut at the Concourse at the Barnyard on Cruisin' New England.
Hi, my name is Neil Murley, Murley's Car Care Center. We are Southern New England's Sunoco race fuel dealer. Save on Sunoco race fuel right off Route 3 in Weymouth Heights. And good luck on the track.
These are the faces of childhood food allergies. To these kids, it's not about the inconvenience of restricting peanut products and other food allergens at school or at camp. To more than 6 million of our precious children, it can be a matter of life and death. Help us keep all of our children safe. Learn to recognize allergic reactions. Know the facts about food allergies.
Visit the Wood Museum of Springfield History in Springfield, Mass., home of the world's largest Indian motorcycle collection, and Springfield-built cars like Rolls-Royce and the Duryea. Check out Cruisin' New England Productions' website. You'll see updated information about our fun car show series, including the Magical Mystery Cruise, the Circle of Champions, the Super Wheel Showdown, and the Spooktacular Cruisin' Classic. Also subscribe to Cruisin' New England magazine. We feature some of the hottest rides in the Northeast along with event listings and a whole lot more. Don't miss a single issue. And if you want more information about sponsorships, advertising, or personal appearances by Paul Manette, email us at cruisenewengland@aol.com.
In the market for new tires, there's only one place to go. Town Fair Tire. We beat anyone, any day. Online prices, we beat them. Wholesale clubs, other tire dealers, we beat them. No matter what the brand or the size, Town Fair Tire will beat any price, any day. And you always get all these services free. That's why nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
We're back, and I'm here with Mr. Steam himself, Dick Everett. What did you bring here today?
I brought two engines here today. Right now I brought this Armington Sims. This is the smallest engine Armington Sims built. They build engines to 125 horsepower from 1/2, and this is the only 1/2 horsepower Armington Sims we know that exists. That came out of a sailmaker's loft in New York City. And this was used to stitch the steel claws together horizontally.
Dick, behind us, we got this machine here blowing out all this steam. What is it?
That's exhaust steam. This engine was the condensate pump engine from a very large steam yacht called Parthena, which was scrapped after the Second World War.
Dick, you mentioned another piece that you had on the back of a truck. Can we go have a look at that?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
let's go.
Follow me.
So, Dick, this is what you brought here today?
Yeah, this is another display.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, I'm trying to give someone the truck. I'm sick of driving this heavy old truck. So if you can guess who this man is and who that girl is, who this man hired, that's the only clue I'm going to give you. You get the truck.
He kind of looks like Howard Hughes.
It does, and a lot of people say that, but it isn't. You've lost the truck.
I lost the...
It's Reginald Denny.
Okay.
And he had several, he was a movie star. He was first in silent movies and talkies. He usually played a heavy, but once in a while he played like a detective. And he was very interested in model airplanes. So before the war broke out, he developed and built the Dynamite engines, which that is. That's a model airplane engine, 0.65 a cubic inch. He made over 7,000 of them. You gotta understand that's a cut down propeller. The propeller would be about 12 to 14 inches. When the war broke out, you couldn't make toys of metal anymore. Metal was all rationed. So they started a Ryder company with a guy named Ryder, and they built these drone engines. And this shows the drone ready to be launched. It shows Reginald Denny installing the radio. These are the specifications for the drone. Now you gotta answer the last question. You've lost the truck, but give it This girl started working high school weekends assembling these engines, and when the war broke out, she assembled all of these. You can see them in the shelves in back of her. She worked for him. Who is that?
I have no idea, Dick. Who is it?
Norma Jean Baker, Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, is it really? Oh my God.
Before Hollywood got a hold of her.
Oh boy, and I tell you, they really got a hold of her.
She looks like the girl downtown, right?
Wow, she certainly does.
That's her.
Hey, you know, I didn't win the truck.
You didn't win the truck.
I did, but why don't you tell me about the truck?
Well, what I'm going to tell you is this is a 1943 military truck. It's the same as a CCKW, but a single rear axle. Now this truck was not shot, was sent to France, was an airport foam truck. I bought two new after the war, Mechanicville, New York. They were $500 each in '59. And I have modified the truck a little, but I haven't ruined it. It's got the original wiring system for the blackout lights. It's got all of the above, but I made a new back end for it so it'd be useful.
So Dick, did you restore this on your own?
Yes, I restored it on my own. We ran a little sawmill for years, and this was used at the mill, and there's a lot of winch hours on it, but no miles, no rust, all dents. So my wife said, what are you going to do with that awful old truck when we stop running the sawmill? And I said, you know, it's not in bad condition, it just looks like hell. So this is what I did with it.
Hey Dick, thanks for sharing all the steam and these questions that you asked me to try to win that truck, and what a beautiful truck. You did a great job.
Thank you.
George, we've seen a little bit of everything from ambulances to oil trucks to steam engines. What a great time. Thanks for having me here today.
Pleasure to have you here.
I'm Paul Minette. Until next time, I'll be cruising New England.